Scott Belly Hairdressing this evening. Woo! It is gone 7 o'clock and we are live tonight. If you are driving past, you will literally see us as you're driving by this evening. But anyway, big good evening to our international viewers tonight, especially everybody at Muck Central in Australia, Mark, Leah, Clive, everybody that's Brad. Great working with Brad as well. Thank you so much, Brad, for giving me the opportunity to work with you on Sunday. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It was great to be part of the UK artistic team working with the Australians together in harmony. Absolutely brilliant. My team thoroughly loved it, so thank you very much. Big evening to everybody at Muck Central UK, Big Al, the lovely Justina. It was lovely to finally meet you as well on Sunday, so hopefully you're with us tonight. Big mate, Lynn-Marie Atkinson, of course, Grace, and not forgetting, of course, Cara. Also, big evening to all the Saxon family if you're watching tonight, and also Joe. I'm sure you'll be watching in a minute, seeing what's going on. You'll see our model when we showcase our model this evening, because of course we're on number 42. Because of course we originally started this programme to do 3 haircuts only. As you all know, it's gone on a lot further, which is nice. It was originally set up as a DVD type session for hairdressers to be able to learn how to work with the scissors, work with the hair, work with the products in harmony. Also, big evening to our sponsors this evening, Muck Hair Care, because of course you'll get a chance to see how the products work in harmony with the haircut this evening and how it all goes on a journey. The beautiful thing about hairdressing is, I always say, hairdressing is like a piece of art. So for instance, the art that's on the wall over there, it's like a painting, it's a canvas. You're creating into something magic, and then when it comes together at the end, you see a finished product. The beautiful thing is about how to get there. So we'll be going through tonight how to get there with the cut that we do tonight. Yesterday I celebrated doing hairdressing for 30 years. I made sure I give them a good side, because of course it's really important to show that. But tonight's very special when we do this haircut, because this will be the first model that I've actually cut into my 30th year. So for me it's very special. Every haircut I do is very special, whether it's in the salon at Scott Belly Hairdressing, on stage, or if it's literally a cut I do on holiday. As some of you know, I do hair on holiday as well. So every haircut's special. This one tonight is special to me because A, we're doing it live for you, and you get a chance to learn something new. Rhymes quite well. Partner didn't even know it. But of course, on top of that, it's also good to share ideas, because again, hairdressers are really salute you from around the world, because again, it is a challenging job. People say hairdressing is one of those jobs that is a great job. You can go around the world with it, you can make friends with it, you can do lots of things. I'm actually going to showcase a friend tonight, a guest that I've had the pleasure of doing for a long time, but you'll see, like I say, the hair in a minute, of what we do with the model's hair. But again, it's showing how we stand, the hand positioning, the body positioning, it's all very important, and also the use of products. So I'll be going through products, body positioning, and how it all comes together in the journey. Let me introduce to our model this evening. It gives me great pleasure to introduce all the way from Royal Leamington Spa, not Leamington Spa, Royal Leamington Spa, Kate Chiswick. Woo!
Hi everyone.
Take it even to Joe. And
Zach. Evening Joe and my little boy Zach. Hope you're watching.
You
And I hope nighttime, bedtime went well.
Yes, Joe, we hope that you are enjoying your beer and relaxing this evening. So, we're going to have a great time tonight with doing Kate's hair. I'm going to take you all through the journey. You can see we've got short hair tonight, which is very exciting. So, let's all go through the journey, what we're going to do with Kate's hair this evening. So, we're going to be cutting this slightly shorter into the back. Now, the idea is most haircuts go through at this angle. Literally, what we're going to be going for is more of a rounded angle to give us more of a natural feel. So, I tend to use time. So, we're working from 6 to 9 o'clock. That will give us a chance to turn the hair and give it a natural feel. You can always use your hand, because in the appropriate for Halloween, your hand in the shape of a spider's body with legs, that really denotes how we're going to do this haircut. Some of it's similar to how we do a graduated bob. Then as we get through towards the sides, we'll be maintaining that shape again through the sides. Again, most hairdressers do this all the way through. We're actually going to be fanning that round so you can really get that shape onto the face if you wanted to, or wear it off the face. We'll then be working through to the upper area around the apex. You'll see a stronger shape through here. Then we're going to be cutting into the hair so it's more choppy and soft, and then of course we'll be wearing an asymmetrical fringe over to this side. The idea is the layering is really important, the texturising is really important, and the use of tools. We'll be using a razor, thinning scissors, twisting technique, and again the products will come into play with how it works. We'll start with a horseshoe section, which will be divided from the parietal ridge and the recession going through to the upper occipital bone. So let's go through the bones that we'll be working with tonight. We'll be working with the recession, the parietal ridge, which is the bone that tends to denote the top to the bottom and subdivide that. We'll then be working with the apex for any roofers that are watching tonight, because of course we all know the roof of a house is an apex. We then go upper occipital bone, the protruding bone in the skull, which is the occipital bone, the lower occipital bone, which is the starting point of a cut. We then go into the nape. We'll be using a bit of the nape tonight. We'll also be using the mastoid process. That also denotes the corner of the chair. So when you come around the haircut, you know at that point you can check. Generally get something called quadrant. That's 4 corners on the hair. So you go through the top, have a cross. There's 1 section, 2 section, 3 and 4. So you'll have quadrant 1, quadrant 2, 3 and 4. So by the time I get to the corner of the ear, through the corner of the chair, the mastoid process, that will tell me to then check the first quadrant, to cross check and make sure it's all okay. So, products we're going to be using this tonight, we're going to be going with fat muck blowout mousse, which is one of my favourites. I like to cut with it because again, if you pour it into a glass, it disperses into conditioner, and it will also give me the natural feel of the hair, so I can see the natural movement. We'll then be going into the blow dry. We'll be using hard muck, which is what started Muck, the product company, off. So we'll be using that to blow dry with this evening. And then as our finishing product tonight, we'll be using Savage Muck, which is really, really hard. And you'll see that will bring out the texture and the movement. And then at the very end, we'll be using a little bit of hair lacquer. And then I'm going to add one more product into the wardrobe tonight. We'll be using Argan Oil Muck Spa Shine Spray, which will be the last product, and that will really bring it all together. So quite a big wardrobe there, and again, it's all really important. You have to think about the products, how they're going to work in harmony with the cut. So we now know what products we're going to be using, we now know what the cut we're going to be doing. Let's all do the cut. By the way, big good evening to my physiotherapist tonight, and Ben. I know you're away on holiday at the moment, so hopefully you're having a good time. Friend's friend. Okay, so our first product we're going to use this evening, sorry, he does that to me. We're using fat muck blowout mousse. I told you it's relaxed. About all these things, it's all important. Thank you. So also big good evening to Nick McCaffrey. If you're watching tonight, you know this is the size of a golf ball, as you only know. Nick McCaffrey, good to see you. You know it's a golf ball size, and what it disperses. In fact, you can do the writing soon. Write it in there and you'll get it on there. Big good evening to Sharon McCaffrey if you're also watching tonight, because of course, let's not forget that you were also my friend first before Nick, which is really important. And again, Dan Metcalf, hopefully Dan, you'll be watching as well, with Samantha this evening, which I know you'll be down at Brentwood watching live tonight, as with any of our international people. Dad will call your names out as you come on to say hello, and we'll give you a little hello this evening, which is what it's all about. So the product's now evenly distributed, which again is really important. It's almost like preparing a cake or a mix.
Nick's watching from the train station in Frankfurt.
Guten Tag, Nick. Hope you're okay. Guten Nika, that's it. Hope you're okay, my friend. Good to see you. Got a nice short haircut this evening, so something different for you. Not got Wolfgang with you, obviously. So now we're going to be going through the horseshoe section. Quite different on a Friday night as well. Nicky Gow. Ooh, nice to see you, Nicky. You'll be seeing me practicing for the marathon again soon, as I'm sure you've read. I'll be back out there on the road. No doubt, I'll be looking forward to beeping your hooter at me and waving. So you can see now we're going from the recession through to the parietal ridge, and now we're coming round to the upper occipital bone. To have a second to think about the names of the school, because it's so complex. The bones that we use, they're like the highway of the hair. And as long as you think about where you're going with it, you cannot get lost. Dan Connor, good to see you with us tonight. I'm guessing that you're with Jimmy in Madrid.
Yeah, Jimmy,
big good evening, Jimmy.
Madrid.
Good to see you. Ooh, I'll be okay. I'm coming out to do 15 haircuts soon. So if you're okay there, Tucker. It's all good to see everybody on there tonight. I should imagine you're all drinking red wine tonight, because I know Jimmy's quite potent on a little drop of Rioja, so I should imagine that's what you'll be drinking tonight this evening. So you can see we're now coming through to the other side, keeping the sections really nice and clean. Jimmy, don't try and do this to Dan's hair, okay, because I'm guessing that you'll probably try and do this with your tools that are in your tool bag. Don't try and cut his hair with a pair of pliers, it's not clever. Alright?
Hopefully not after the Rioja.
Correct, after the Rioja. That's right. So now we've got the subdivision of the haircut. As you can see, you've got 2 parts of the haircut, which is really important. So I'm just going to bring that down one side, because I'm not quite happy with the balance. Balance is really important. So you can really sort of affect a cut quite a bit if the balance isn't right. So just go a little bit lower. and that just makes everything really, really nice and aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Big word Phil Shilton tonight as well. It's quite funny. That is, it's all good. So hopefully wherever you are this evening, it's not disrupted you watching Coronation Street or disrupted you with your dinner. I'm guessing Lynn-Marie Atkinson will be watching with the sound coming from the Samsung and the picture coming from the iPhone. So now we're going to subdivide this off, so we go behind the ear. That's more at an angle, so if you look at the shape of the hand, it's coming just at an angle there, so we've got that angle there. This is the first part. Now what happens is, your body is where you're going to be pulling the hair to, so i.e. you pull it towards your shape of your body, so 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, round to the side, that's what you pull it to. We now look at the thumb leads on the cut and also the angle of the fingers. We're going to go knuckles in, fingers out, which is really important because that determines the angle of the cut. So we're going to go into this now with a normal cut and then add some texture after. So second knuckles, what we're cutting to, that's where we are now, into the nape. Again, if you leave it quite long, what will happen is it will grow out really fast, so it's best just to get that shape in there and really sort of get that cut nice and strong. You can see as I start to cut it, it falls really nice and natural into the neck, the nape, and that's what you're looking for. You'll be thinking about these names tonight when you go home. It's all technical stuff.
It is very roundabout.
It is, it's
Slow melting.
Claire, nice to see you with us this evening. I hope you're okay. Right, we're now going to move Kate round slightly for your benefit. Now we just put that angle in, as we said earlier on, with the hand as it moves. Pull the hair out towards my body, because if you pull it back you won't do anything. So we're now taking the corner off as we're doing this. And again, it's really important about angles, keeping your hands nice and still, keeping your back straight as you're doing it. You can see as I'm cutting, I'm angling my hand in slightly. So I'm actually moving now. I'm rotating the hand. You can actually see it moving around on the position, which now softens into the neck. We're now going to go to 8 o'clock, which is where we'll be just about when we finish tonight. Pulling the hair out towards that angle again. You can really, wait till you see this back tonight, you'll absolutely love this. We see everything cut, it's great. So again, the discipline on the second knuckle is really important, because again you can just sort of see that shape coming out. This is where it's really important. If you do not pull this out towards your body shape, what will happen is you will create a ring around the head like satin. So you after something that takes that corner off and really comes through. So you don't want to be sort of angling it out where you've got a lot of weight, you need to be taking it off. A lot of people want to teach this style tend to forget that, and it just sort of creates weight, and then they wonder why the shape's not strong. Now you can see we're changing the angle here. Traditionally it would be cut like that, but because we're moving the hand round, it creates a more interesting shape. So for those of you that have never cut like this before, practice on a mannequin doll. If you want to just go straight in and do it, watch the DVD back and rewind it back and do it. But as long as you remember that everything rotates round, so you're pivoting round as you're doing it, associating to the time of where it is. Okay, so now we're at that last piece for 9 o'clock, which again, if you remember, looking at the hand, which is the blueprint, you can see as it finishes off with my little finger at that angle. So we're now through to 9 o'clock. Not quite in real time at 9 o'clock, but so now you can see that corner just coming off, and of course it's keeping the knuckle there to the second knuckle cut in, and then also you knuckle into the head, because again these are all pointers and guides that are really, really important when you cut. And again, you can see now, if we just roll Kate back, we can just sort of see everything just sort of comes around nice, and you can see that shape taking shape. And all you do then is just look at it and see if there's any little bits that you don't like. You can clean this up again later, but the main thing is you can see the shape fall, and you've got a real strong shape through that section below the lower occipital bone. Now you just come back the other way, as I said earlier on, check it off, and you can take that away, and it's all gone. Okay, so now onto the sides. This again is working sections like this at this angle, as we would traditionally work that way. There's two areas we've got to look to determine this. We go the angle that we're cutting in, because again the angle is really important, and also the angle that we cut. Now by cutting this at this angle, it will automatically cut onto the face and give us a real soft effect, and that's what we're after, two things into one. So angle coming out. Now I'll turn the knuckles into the head. I've already decided what angle I'm going to go in at, so I'm actually really coming in quite tight. And as I cut this, it should really start to show the shape, and when I share with you in a moment how it looks, you'll see. Now most of you will be thinking, why are you taking that at that angle? Well, as I've just said, it will give you the effect what we're after. Like I say, it looks quite unnatural because a lot of people look at it and think what's happening, but as you shake it off with the hair, you can see it falls naturally, and that's how I cut in my world. It's slightly different to everybody else, which is what you need, something that's different as a USP, which is why of course you drive a distance to come here.
Absolutely.
Now you're going to know all my secrets once you watch this DVD. You're going to see it all, literally. So now we can start to see everything start shaping onto the face, and then all we can do then is add more to it later. So again, the more you put the knuckle into the head, the more you see the angle come onto the face. So if you left it longer, it would be longer here as it is now what I'm showing you. So I'm just going to go a fraction bit shorter, put the knuckle in tighter to the head, you can really see the change. Again, with the fat muck blowout mousse, you can really see the shape works nicely with the product, and then we can start to see the shape coming. Give it a little shake with the fingers. Again, this is called the natural fall, so you can really see how it falls nicely. And again, all you do then is just make sure it's clean over the ears. Remember, you'll clean this up later when it's all done. Behind the ears is always a real prone place to have a lot of long hair, so just go behind there, comb it down, see if there's anything behind there, take that out, and then you know then that it's all nice and clean and aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Here's a little bit more of something else that's going to go. I'm going to do a stroking technique now, so we'll just go in to soften the front. So just going to use the scissors on the tips and then just chip that away. The idea is you're using the edges, flicking it, and it's creating a very jagged effect. Now what this will do is just make the edges a little bit more softer as I come into it, and then it will just finish everything out. Again, it's just utilising different techniques, and it just finishes it out, and you can really see now we've got a nice soft edge just coming out there, which I can then use the clippers to finish out later. So we've got a real nice soft edge. That's side number one. And then if we just look in the mirror, we can see a nice angle that looks like a heart shape, which is what we're after. Okay, got a smile as well, that's good. Side two, the important part of this is that you go through with the thumb leading this side, and then you put the fingers in at this angle also to make sure that you're going from the knuckles to the fingers, because of course if you go the opposite way, you'll create more hair in the bottom and less hair in the top, and we want it to be the opposite way around. Remember, you are moving, so you're going 6, 5, 4, 3, so by the time we get to there, that's where the section is. So we're just going to drop that in first, which is where we're going to cut to. Now we're going to go straight into it. Jimmy, this will remind you of the flames cut when I was doing the flames, the haircut years ago. I'll be saying later on, the flames, Bob the flames. So of course, all these haircuts, they're all quite similar, there's lots of movement, but again, it's just making things that sort of work to bring it all together. Again, you can just see it all coming in. Kate's just having a little look to see what her hair's looking like. It's good, there you go. That looks quite good. I've never seen it live as I'm doing it. That's really cool. That is excellent. Claire, nice to see you on there tonight. Hope you're okay. Good to see you. See that I'm running for the Alzheimer's in the marathon, so I'm sure that you and your mother will be pleased with that one. So yes, I finally got into London Marathon, so 2 more marathons to go to get a chance to go out and do it, which will be absolutely brilliant. So again, now this is important. The fingers are coming in to the neck to make sure everything's clean, and we're only going down to the second knuckle. Again, you can see that shape starting to appear. And in dad or off. Is your arm starting to ache? Is your arm starting to ache? It is starting to ache?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, my arm's just propping myself up on the stairs.
Nobody's seen you yet, actually. Okay, here he is, look. Always there, working nice and hard. What did Claire say? I cannot read it. What she
Good
said?
evening, Scott and Dad.
Oh, yeah, she said hello
Got
to you
your
as well.
work cut out when you see me again, Scott. Major haircut needed.
Okay, that's fine. I'm sure you booked it, I'm looking forward to it. That'd be great. I'll sharpen my scissors on my belt, don't worry. It'll be fine. So again, just working on the edges just to soften everything out.
Dean Payne.
Dean Payne, good to see you with us tonight. Hope you're okay. So again, we're just working the same angle as we were now, going in with the fingers. People just drop in now. It's that time of the evening. Let's just see what it looks like it's being done. On the film, it's good. Good camera angle. Right, so again now we just have to replicate what we were doing earlier. So we're just going through doing this. I'm going to pull a face later then. Should do. I didn't get a chance. That's it. That's the one. So now we just bring it through, just making sure that we're going in nicely. You're quite sneaky with that camera, it's good. So again, the fingers are going in, the more of the angle the fingers go in, the more you can actually see the shape, so that just brings it in. And again, all it is a replication of what you saw on the other side, but again, it just makes such a big difference. Sharon McCaffrey joined us tonight, Dad.
She's in the air apparently.
She's in the air, is she in the air? Is she flying?
The next waiting to pick her up.
Ah, excellent. Very good. How about Big Mate? Is he come on tonight?
Yeah. No.
Well, it's not like him. He's normally on watching. He's probably gone out to have dinner tonight. Mind you, it is Friday night, so
Friday night's a different.
they'll watch later. He knows it's on. So while we've got a chance to suggest on here, just very, very quickly, we're doing a show next week. We're actually doing a show in the area to raise money for disabled children that ride horses, and the salon will be appearing live on stage, and we are actually doing that live to Facebook. So next week's what we're doing here is going to be a live show, so hopefully you'll join us next Thursday night 7:30. Be there. Okay, so moving on slightly onto the sides, you can see now the shape is just through here. Now you can see it start to take shape again. It's really just a question now, just working with it. Then we'll put the stroking technique in as we just did earlier on. Just behind the ears. Again, these are all the little places that you have to just double check in the quadrant, which is one of the quarters of the haircut. Kate will be thinking to herself, I never realised there was that much involved in hairdressing.
Absolutely not. No, I've seen your work before, Scott. Of course there is.
Well, I never spoke it out loud. That's what I'm doing. What you're doing is just getting what I think in my brain. That's it. So stroke cutting again, just on the edges. Again, just to soften it up. Thank you for your very kind words. And for being here. So we can now see the shapes there. We'll just go into the other corner now just to make sure the quadrant's fine. Again, if this does break into your time with Coronation Street or anything that's on TV tonight, I'm sorry. We'll probably be on here tonight for, I should imagine, another half an hour to 40 minutes, which by then you'll see the actual finished effect. Right, we've got both sides now finished. We can come out and just measure this in 3 areas just to make sure that everything's level. You then just sort of have to pick pieces to bits. You can sort of see if there's any corners, because again, corners are really important. You can comb from the top or comb from underneath to get a very accurate shape on it, and then that just finishes that out too. Okay, so now at this point we would now take the grips out, do a middle parting, because now what we're going to work on is the weight area just below the parietal ridge. And the way you do that is, as with like a man's haircut, they're going to take the comb from it when you put your hand out like that. They're going to take it off, man. So, you know, don't you?
Yeah. Well trained.
That's it. I've watched me so many times.
Helen Ruth Eakin.
Nice to see Helen Ruth Eakin. Hope you're okay. Good to see you on there. Just go around to the side, Dad, if we can. This side stays left. That's it. Right, so everything replicates now. We'll just go square up all the way round. So as we're going square up, we'll still pivot it round, but everything's square, just to make sure we're connecting everything that we've got. Yeah, Helen, I've not seen you for a long time. Hope you're okay. So you can see just there is the length we're going to. This is what we're preserving. Just take that out, and again, it's a replication, thinking about time as we're coming round, taking the tiniest amount off, which again is really important. The time really plays an important part on the haircut, which I always say is the part you're looking for. If you were to take the top part shorter, what would happen is it would round in on the head, which basically means that you would lose the weight and the width on the sides, because remember, we're going for a heart shape, so we're looking to bend that out slightly. If we cut it in, it just follows the head shape and it looks as if you've got no hair. So at this point it's really important. You can always reduce hair off the top later when you do the layers, but for now it's important to leave it, because again, most people like a bit of width on the sides, and it just creates a really, really strong shape and a strong presence on it as well, because again, we all like to see a strong shape in the hair. So give it a little shake, you can start to see that natural shape appearing. Let's just go around, so we switch to the other side. Again, everything this side you're angling out, so you're putting your fingers in and your knuckles coming out, which again is really, really important. you can sort of see the shape reappearing. Okay, so again, just making sure the angle's right on the fingers, making sure the sections are right. You'll only get a tiny amount off when you do this. You can actually sort of see what I'm taking off now. Just there. It's not really a great deal, but it's enough, because if you left it on, it would grow out, be too heavy, and it wouldn't make the shape as strong as it is. Again, it's really important that people in the craft of hairdressing, you don't cut any corners, pardon the pun, but again, you have to just make sure that everything sits aesthetically right, it's all technically cut, and then that way you know you've got a really good haircut. 3 things I live by, what I try to work for is, number 1, world-class customer service, or as close as you can get it. Number 2, consistency with the haircut. That means every time a client comes back, or the cut is consistent. Number 3, added value. The added value could be the amount of work you're putting into the hair. It could be a nice glass on the side with fresh flowers. It could be anything, but that's what it's all about to make it important. Again, moving on now, from the apex to the upper occipital bone, we're going to do a rounded piece of hair through here now. So the idea is we're not after any drag. That's drag. We're looking to keep it up nice and straight, so it's controlled out of the arm while I cut the hair, because that's the mechanic part of the haircut, which you'll see in a minute. You will then be doing this like the section of a cake, dividing it into sections. So we'll start 1, 2, 3, and then switch back 4 and 5. And this is how it works. So we lift it up, watching out for drag. Now, the arm's really important on this part, so we just push it up with the arm. The arm determines how much that you cut the angle of the hair at. If I push it too hard, see it's starting to move over, and my back's starting to get a degree of stress on it. So we're after sort of a nice natural thing, and the arm's just nice and loose, and that's how you cut it. You never know that because you never saw it before, but mechanics is important. Impressive, isn't it? So you move around, take a step down to the side. Again, same principle. It says mechanics is dead important. And then again, take the next section. Again, the arm is moving to push it up to the correct angle, so you can't sort of like be doing that, because if you do that, say you get one side longer than the other. Now at this point where I'm standing here in this position, I'm now going to just take that section, take one step to the left, and then the arm again. If you come around this side, Dad, you might get it. The arm is pushing up slightly, so if I push it too far up, it moves the angle. So you're looking to push it slightly, and then that then allows you to do the other section. Traditionally, you would cut it like this, at this angle as you'd be doing it, but the thing is, as you're doing this, you've got your back to the guest, which they're talking to you, and they've got the back of your head. But if you actually turn around this way, you can actually face the guest and still continue conversation as per normal. Pretty cool, eh? Important stuff, though. So the arm goes into play again. It's really important, all these things. It's all about body positioning, as I said earlier on, and hand positioning. Okay, so we've now got the shape. You can start to see a bit of movement in there. The fat blowout mousse is starting to work, and you can really see the shape. So let's just go back into that quadrant now, slightly angled out, because of course that's the angle we cut it at. That's just a cross check. We'll cross check this side as well. That just helps us to make sure everything's level. Second knuckle, don't go over the second knuckle, otherwise you'll find yourself chopping your fingers to bits. Right, just move you around. You now start to see the shapes building, and you're getting a nice silhouette of the haircut coming through the top. If you've got a double crown, it's a nice technique to work with that. It really gives it a nice shape. So we're now going to talk through the top. It's going to bring around this way towards me. That's it. So this part on the top now. Traditionally, hairdressers cut it this way. We're actually going to cut it in the shape of this way. So we're going to be taking sections from 9, 10, 11 and 12. Then 12, 1, 2, 3. So when I say that, we'll be cutting it at that angle, that angle, that angle. Now if you go short to long, what it will do is preserve the fringe at the front and make it longer. If you cut it level, you will make the fringe shorter. So these are things you have to think about while you're doing it. So there's quite a lot to think about. So let's just go back round to this side. Sorry, stays left. So we know it's going to move around this way, so we're now just going to go in there, lay the shape in as we're doing it. So the arm comes back into play again, pushing up, taking the edge off, nice straight line, and then literally it's a question of, at this point now, just making sure everything's really, really level and aesthetically pleasing to the eye. What we'll do then is add texture to it in a minute. I just want to show you how to get the discipline in. Now this is going at about 11 o'clock as we're cutting this. Just to make it nice, we're going now for 12 o'clock. So so everything's coming through. You can see I'm holding it just slightly longer at the front to preserve the fringe. Okay, there we go. We've got, you can see the texture already with it. Now I'm going to come around this side. Just need to switch with Dad. So 1, 2 and 3. So now we're just going to come through the opposite way. Some of you may think this is quite unusual, but yeah, it is unusual, but it creates a lovely effect. Just come around this way. I'll move for you. That's it. Okay, so now slightly up there. Come over my shoulder, that's it. You'll be able to get it, that's it. There you go. So you can see the angle I'm taking off. Again, second knuckle now I'm moving round. This is coming round towards 1 o'clock because I'm cutting. Which again is really important. Nice bit of dramatic music as well when we're doing this, it's good. It really is. I don't know what the music is next week. The sound man's doing it. Oh. Should be interesting. I've just left it with him. He'll do something dramatic. Yeah, well, I trust him, so that's good. Okay, now we're coming through to 2. And then we'll finish off at 3. It's 3 o'clock. Just there. And that's now giving us the shape. So we've now pivoted all the way around the head. Okay, so coming into position where we're going to go. Now we're going to go back through the opposite way. Okay, so we've now got a preserved fringe, which you can relax because it's still long. It actually starts to come into shape already. So now we're going to go through the opposite way, which is a traditional way of cutting, and just make sure that everything's level. Which of course you just want to make sure everything's balanced, and then what we'll do then is we'll put some texture in it afterwards and make sure that's all okay, and then round the fringe out just slightly and do all that work, what we need to do. So through here now, just going to go through the next part, which is working from this part onto the parietal ridge, just come through there. So you got a few locks on there, but I'll look for it. It's good. Excellent. Always makes it worth it. So you can see I'm just taking the edge off. There's only the tiniest amount to come off, but because I'm so OCD about cutting hair, I just have to make sure I don't miss anything. And again through this side, I'll move around for you, don't I? Let's just switch, carousel. There we go, just like magic. And again we'll just make sure that everything's alright on the parietal ridge, just to make sure that that's all nice and clean and tidy. And then you can just see that comes off. So now we've got the basis of the cut. What we're going to do now is add some texture. So we've already got movement and texture in it. By doing it in that direction, it creates a lot of movement already. So we've already got that and it blends nicely. Now we'll change the scissors. I'm just going to go into the hair. Now we're going to slice into this or chop into it. I'll do a bit of both. So we'll go like that. So it's open and close the blade, but flick in as you're doing it. Again, really important just to watch the fingers while you're doing this. And then all you're doing really is creating a lot more texture whilst you're doing this on there, so it just really finishes it out. So we've already got one part. Tend to do it in sections because then you don't miss anything. And then that way you've done the one technique. You can then go into the second technique afterwards, which will be a bit of point cutting and twist cutting. So we'll add that in there in just a second. So now just move it around with the fingers again. Because, like I said, the fat muck blowout mousse works so well, you can actually sort of see that coming into play with a haircut now. And again, it just gives us a little bit more movement. Okay, so James Butler, Jimmy.
Hold your fingers, Scotty.
Don't you worry. So then, Jimmy, how are things? Right, now, the degree of movement in the scissor is more you take off is at an angle, the less you take off is straight ahead. So just point cut in straight ahead. I can't believe you're watching from Madrid. It's pretty impressive. You'll be cutting how you will, my friend, soon. So then, Jamie. That's what they'll be saying to you. How would you like your hair? So, again, now we're just going through. It will start to dry out because we go from wet to dry, which just finishes everything out. And again, because I'm cutting at show speed, I'll cut a little bit slower for you. So just cut it. You can see what's going on as I'm doing this. Then we'll do some twist cutting next. Okay. Which again, this all just adds to more movement in the hair, which is what we're after. Because these parts are really important. This is what gives people that movement, that personalised look. Let's just go around the other side. See the colour's starting to change as well already. It is. So you're coming through this side now. Soften some of it off, just as we come through. Ask Jimmy if he's had a fillet steak already and a glass of Rioja.
He says,
What did he say?
Ali Dave needs a cut in Madrid as soon as possible.
Let me know when Sim's going over, and then I'll then come out with Sim and I'll bring the scissors out with me. Alright, and I'll do it. Right, next part now. We need to get some more texture, so we're twisting the hair round. What we're going to do now is just... Chris Allen. Good to see you with us tonight. A previous model, good to see you on there. Slice it and really, what we're doing now is squeezing slightly. By twisting it, what it does is it creates a natural fall into the hair, which then gives us a lot more body. So as Kate's hair starts to grow out, it will start to create a natural look and give it more body as it gets to the end of its hair. Well, the end of the cut, before we need a fresh cut. This just helps. So again, a little bit more different. I like moving you around, it's important.
Absolutely.
You got to make it aesthetically pleasing for the viewer. Joe will be wanting to watch what goes on into your hair. He'll think, how come you drive so far for a haircut? That's someone might be watching this one, I don't know. That's it. So you can sort of see now, just by doing this,
Jimmy says, show me the Christmas tree, Scotty.
It'll be up in 2 weeks at my house. I'm putting it up in 2 weeks, so you'll see it then. Okay, so, because I like to put my Christmas tree up early, you see.
I was going to say, that is early.
Oh yeah, well my Christmas tree goes down on Boxing Day, that's why. It's a traditional thing, Scotty puts his Christmas tree up early. Right, so you can see you've got an angle coming down. We're going to use a razor blade now. Very lightly skim it into the edge, just to soften the fringe out a little bit. So we're only touching it lightly. The idea is we call this a lunchtime fringe, which means you can have it done in your lunchtime because it's quick. So it just basically just gives us a nice soft edge. Now we've got a real soft edge on there. Again, if anything, you can look at and sort of pick to bits and think, well, I could just do that. That can be softened out. I'll add a bit there, take a bit off there. That gives you the shape. Now we're going to use some special scissors for this next part. Because you're special. That's why you say. So
You charmer.
it's true, you are. So, curved pair of scissors. This creates a nice little angle. So I'm just going to use these. Joe's on. Let's see what it says. Kate drives. What did she say? Let's read out what Joe said to me.
Kate drives that far.
Drives that far.
She always comes back looking even more amazing.
There you go. Give him a little wave.
Hi.
He's a charmer. He
He
knows
is a
what to
charmer.
say, doesn't he? Nice one, Joe. I like it. Very good. At least you know what goes into the haircut. Good to see you with us tonight. So now this curved part of the scissor is creating less weight through the fringe. And this is how you find it works, just by taking the edge off. So what will happen is it will just take away the weight that's in the middle section of the cut and just keeps everything looking nice. Again, once we've finished, we'll go and photograph Kate's hair afterwards, and then you'll be able to view this over the weekend when I show the cut again. When it's dry, you'll see it all finished later. Okay, so we've pretty much got the finished effect.
Jimmy says, give Bally Dave a shout out, Scotty, and Dan Connor.
Bally Dave and Dan Connor. Woo-hoo! Hopefully you're having a good time out there in Madrid. Do what Jamie tells you. It's really important. You'll be the foreman before you know it. Right, so our next product we're going to introduce now to the wardrobe is muck, hard muck, which is what started the company off many years ago. So this again is really important because it's a fairly thick product. You can see it's like a clay. So most people would never use this to blow dry with, but again it's great to break a few rules and put that in the hair and do something different. Now the nice thing is, there we go. You kill me. So warm it into your hands. Now what we're looking for is when you apply it into the hair, you can actually see the movement of the hair, you can actually see what it's doing before you even blow dry. So most customers when they're in the salon don't actually know what I'm doing, but this is what I'm doing, looking at the shape and seeing what it's creating. Because the beautiful thing is you can actually see your haircut, what you've created with the texture. and the product's allowing you to do it now. Immediately, as soon as it goes in, you have to put the dryer on very, very quickly, otherwise it will set, and that's what we don't really want. Thank you. So now we go for a blow dry, but you can see on there you've got a nice soft effect. Let's come around the other side where the light is, you might just be able to get it better. The light stays left. That's it, my friend. That's it, it's coming in, it's coming in. Hopefully there's a little bit lighter that side. Here he goes, here we go. So now, on with the blow dryer. Don't worry, blow off it. There you go. I'll blow off the little phone as well, there you go. So, there you go. Okay, so, when you're drying with the dryer, always remember you're going in the direction of where the hair has been cut and where you want it to sit. So, you can sort of see naturally where it falls. If you dry the opposite way, it will really sort of go against the grain. You need it to really sort of go the right way. Now if the hair's coming this way, we'll dry it that way first and then bring it back again afterwards. Through the top, you can always use your fingers just in order to create a little bit more movement. We're looking for something that's like an explosion of movement in the hair. So we're really using the products to be able to create that. So if I now just put my hand in there with the dryer and just move it the opposite way really quickly. I'm going to bring it over this way and then bring it back to its correct way. You notice I'm not using a brush. This is the best brush in the world for fingers. All naturally created by God. Of course it's important because then you can actually see where the hair's going. And what we'll do in a moment is we'll actually use the straighteners, style stick, and we'll put that in the fringe so we can just bring that out a bit more. So again, we want this fringe to come this way, so just use the dryer, really bring it in on the roots, because again it's really important to get a dry from the root. The colour's really looking cool now, you can really see the colour looking spot on, it's really coming
Oh, it does, always goes
yeah,
out.
it looks really good. It's really good. Again, you can just use your hand on the top, rotate it. That again just gives us a little bit more movement. These tips are really key. You need to be doing as much work on it as you can to make it easier for yourself. Okay, we're now going to bring our next product from Muck. We're going to use the style stick. Make sure it's the right way around, that's it. We're going to use the style stick, so we're just going to come in there with a little trick stick that I like to call it. So the nice thing about this is it's got a dial on the front which then goes to 230 degrees. It's also got ionic conditioning lights in there as well, which you see the red ones on a normal flat plate. The ionic lights basically calm down what is classed as static in the hair, which is a positive ion. This basically then goes to a negative ion which you then put on the hair and smooths down and gives it a really nice shine and a nice look. So that's the purpose of that. It adds conditioning shine and makes it look really nice. I actually love it. It's just so cool. It's just a great tool to use. Very light. Feel that. Feel the weight of that. Does it feel light? Does it feel heavy?
I like.
Feel nice and light. There you go. You hold that for a minute. You can continue with the presentation. Thanks for that.
Matthew Sidwell, Scott.
Matthew Sidwell. Hopefully you're okay, and I'm hoping that you're feeling good and took my advice. Again, right, let's just go around this way. I need you back around this way towards the camera. Good luck with your disco tonight. Hope it goes alright. MES disco's there. Right, so now we'll just put the straighteners on. You can really see the style stick. Just bring it through. We just got to get this as straight as we can. Not too straight because we don't want it poker straight, but we want it a little bit straighter so we can just see where we're going with the cut. And then just bring that through, because again I can see where I've cut with the razor earlier, so I just need to see what I'm doing with it. Again, the nice thing is you can sort of bend this slightly as you're doing it to shape the head. As you're doing that, it starts to create that body, so it's really just a question of just moving everything around. Really gone for it tonight. If it's not hair up, it's, you know,
Absolutely.
that's it. Talk about a good
Pushing your
warm-up.
limits.
Tonight. It's good. I love it. Step out your comfort zones, it's always good. Let's bring it on this way. Okay, let's just go through this part. So again, really important just to sort of bevel the plate. When I say bevel the plate, you're really just lifting it up and bending it over. But then again, what that does is it just gives it a great feel. Again, it's Scott Bailey hairdressing. It's really, really important because you have to think about The training's really important, in-house training, you know, constantly looking at what's going on, what's evolving, how it all works. You'll see tonight with this haircut how many different techniques are involved in it, just to make it just, you know, look natural. But again, it's the use of the tools, the use of the products, and it all comes together right through the top. I'm just going to go through here now, so we'll just put the straighteners in, put that through there, just a little bit. I just need a little bit more lift out of here. I want to put the product in later, so it's really just prepping it up just slightly. You can sort of see.
Matthew Sidwell says 80s night tonight. It's got at the Ram in Hipster.
Nice one. There you go. If anybody wants to go, that's where Matthew Sidwell is tonight. Sadly, I won't be able to join you because once I've finished here, I'm going for dinner with my dad. So I would love to come down and have a bit of a boogie to some 80s. I do like 80s. It's good. Takes me back to when I was at school. It's all good. But thank you. Good luck tonight. Oh, New Romantics. I love New Romantics. It's all good. Enjoy the evening. I'm sure you will. So, now we're ready to go into the dry relationship of the haircut. So, let's get some thinning scissors. And again, it's really important because when you look at a cut, you can sort of see where we're going with it. So this is a very visual part of a haircut, which is nice. It all just makes things really important. So what we're going to do now is replicate the cut as we did it, but we're going to pick bits out, and then what we're going to do is keep these thinning scissors moving. Now the idea is with moving the thinning scissors, it creates more of a softer look. And again, it's just a question of just thinking about that. Michelle Sims, what did Michelle Sims say?
She's I'm a Brazilian hairstylist and learned loads watching your videos.
That's nice. Thank you, Michelle. I really appreciate your kind words, and thank you for being with us and making it what it is. It's a pleasure to do it for you and everybody else. Thank you. And hello to Brazil. So, you know, just come through here. Again, you can see thinning scissors, most people are quite scared to use. But again, it's just, all it is just using them and really keeping them moving. Now, you see how light my hands are when I do this. Most people sometimes go in like that and turn them over and cut. Try not to do that. You need to put your hand over and make it fluid, so that way you can go left and right. Now, if you keep moving left and right, you can actually really create a different shape, and you'll see this in a minute. I want to go through towards the front because it's a question of moving things around. Again, it's breaking rules with thinning scissors, but again, it's what it's all about. You've got to be a bit different, got to be a bit challenging, challenge yourself, and you'll see now the cut's already coming towards the face. So the idea is we're now going to come in with these thinning scissors and soften it up a little bit more, and that then starts to create a more softer edge through the front. Obviously we can use the clippers later and put the electric clippers in there, and you'll see a little bit more, but the idea is you can actually sort of really see it. So that's now softened that out a little bit more, and then we're going to go through the other side and replicate that, and then bring the electric clippers in and really soften that up in a minute. Because again, most people will be quite scared to use thinning scissors. Most people will be scared to use electronic clippers, but the idea is it's just use of tools that makes things completely different and keeps the whole haircut looking soft. I'm really pleased with this. It looks really nice. I'm sure you will be as well. I can see you watching the video, seeing how it looks from a different angle. Yeah, but everybody can see it. It's good. So you can now see, again, just by doing this, it creates all that movement, which is good. So what I tend to find is when I'm doing these kind of haircuts, you get a lot of hair behind the ear. So again, it's just pulling it out with your fingers and then just moving it around and softening it off, and then you find that by doing that, it just creates a more softer look. Because again, the thing is, you don't want to sort of cut it off and have it looking too hard and too harsh. So this just finishes it. Now again, we'll go through. Remember that everything's been cut through here, so we've got a lot of weight. Think about a heart shape. That's all there. Use your fingers to move it around a bit, because again, once you've cut it, you need to see what you've cut. As long as you don't faff around too much with it. Some hairdressers do the faffing thing too much, and it gets a bit, you know, you can't sort of see what you're doing. Another thing I tend to do is step away from the hair and have a look at it. Because if you look at it from a distance, you can actually see what's going on. I was always taught if you look at the hair cut too close up, it becomes a brick in the wall. You need to see the wall. So you step back and you can see what's going on. So let's just move the stool out of the way before Dad trips over. Through the top, just a little bit more softness. Again, lifting it up and out as we're doing it. So you're thinking about the angles we cut at as we're doing this. A lot of physical work. Don't realise how much physical work's in it. Yes, it's like a workout. So now we go through the top. So I hope Joe appreciates what I've done here tonight with you.
I'm sure
when
he does.
He walks in, well, when you walk in the house and he sees you, he'll say, "Nice haircut, darling. It looks really nice."
I'm sure he will.
That's it. You tell me if he doesn't, alright? That's it. I'll give him a personal video and I'll say, please pay attention. I know you've got your hands full, but please pay attention.
Yes.
Okay, so if you wanted to put more texture through with the thinning scissors, you go into the roots as well, but on this occasion we don't need to do that. Again, if you wanted to add a little bit more texture, you could twist it, use the thinning scissor and add a little bit more in there as well, and that also creates a little bit more movement as well in there. If you want to get really artistic with it, when you've got an audience of people watching you, get your scissors and spin them around and spin this with your other hand at the same time and just get stuck into it. Took a long time to learn that, so be careful not to stab you or your guest. Right, so let's go through the fringe because you can see it livening up now. All of a sudden it's starting to come alive. This is where it gets exciting, folks, because you can really start to see what you've been doing, your labour of love, and it all starts to come together. A bit like Dr. Dot, filling in all the little gaps.
I'll come round.
Fine. Come on round. I'll get the clippers out now. Okay, let's twist it down. Right, so now we need the electric clippers for this next part. So always keep a comb with you when you're using clippers, don't worry, they're here. That's it. Right, so a normal pair of clippers. Here we go. Normal pair of wall clippers. So when you use your clippers, you're looking for a couple of things. You're looking to, with the comb, you can move the hair out of the way on the hairline, remove all of that below there. Like people with long hair, if you want to, like especially men, remove the hair, use the comb, flick it out of the way. It's always quite nice. Then that will comb down, and you can see you've then got what will be a clear area with a soften edge. And then all you do then is this becomes like the tip of a pen, and all you're doing then is just poking it in and cutting little pieces out and taking it off, coming around the top, nudging it in there, and then really working it into the sides, which you'll see in a minute, and then I'll work through the fringe. So let's put that into practice now. Just take a bit out of there. Most people now watching this will be thinking, I'd never use a pair of clippers on anybody's hair. Well, that's true, you could always think that, but it's a great tool. You can use it to soften things out. So now we use the corner. If you use the corner, you can get more accuracy when you're cutting, and it just softens everything out nicely. Okay, so just take the edge off. Again, just using the edge. It's always on the edge, everything's on the edge, not the full blade. Okay, spin it over, and then just whatever direction you go into, cut it with. That's when you get the softness. Remember what we did earlier on with this haircut? You can now just pick bits out and pixify it even more. Okay, let's go around this side. Really see the difference. Come around, my little friend. Here he comes, look. I'll keep him exercised. That's it. So you can now see, move that up, take that off. It's like a little spotlight on the back with a reflection off this. Okay, comb it down. You can start to see the bits that you've now got remaining. And then you just take that off. And that just finishes it nicely. And just pick little bits out, carve it out with the edge. Again, it's the use of this just like a big pen. That's all it is. It's just like writing. It's just doing little things. If you had a colour in the hair, you could use the corner of the pen and just take little pieces out. So blend colours in, literally, and that starts to do it. You can see it's taking a little bit out of there. Right, so people will go, God, that's crazy. But the thing is, it is different. I am different. That's why I share these techniques with you. So again, it's like just move it around, take the edges off. Again, you can really see this line softening up now and starting to look a bit more softer. And that's what makes all the changes through there. Okay, if you felt it was still long, because you've got to think about the longevity of the haircut, how it lasts and how it grows out. Just take a little bit more out, and then that'll just work out really nice. Okay, right, now we're through to the fringe. So, let's comb everything into position. So everything combs into position as if you were wearing it in the position you're going to wear it. Now you're going to go into it and cut it. Let's just bring around Dad this side towards the stairs. That's it. Come on round, my little friend, that's it. Thank you. Right, now you should get a good angle. There you go. as if by magic, the shopkeeper appeared. That's it, Mr. Ben. That's it.
Ben, yeah.
That's it. All you do then is just whichever angle you take with a clipper, it softens it off. Just go through it. Watch the eyebrows because you want to take any of that off either. Okay, so there we go. Got a nice little softened edge, and then now what we're going to go through is a little bit in the top because I want to get some more lift. So lift that up and then use the clipper in there just to give it a little. Josh Brown on them. Nice to see you, brother. Hope you're okay. Hope you're keeping well. Let me know when you're ready for a haircut. Give me a private message and I'll quite happily do that for you. Alright. Okay, so by using the clippers again, it's adding even more texture. Because again, that's the emphasis of this haircut tonight. It's how much texture can you put into the haircut to thicken it up and make it look nice and full. When you use the product in a minute, you'll really see that come through. Okay. You can see by doing that. There we go, we've got loads of texture coming through. Just go again back in there with the clippers, soften it off. So if you're going to do a picture, that's the one to do it with a pair of clippers on the side of your head. Well, it's not normal what normal people do. Okay, so you can really start to see that we've now got a finished haircut. Just move this around without tripping you over. Thank you. Don't worry, fine. That's it. Got musical chairs. Right, so for the comfort of the guest at this point, you would now just go through it with the brush. Now, while you're going through it with the brush, you're looking at it and sort of picking each little section out and thinking, right, do I need to take a bit more off there? Do I need to move that round? Because, of course, the guest doesn't know that when you're doing it, but as a hairdresser, you can go around and look at that. So I'm quite happy with the way this is. We've got what we needed and more. So the next product we're going to bring into the wardrobe is hair lacquer. Milk hair lacquer, we'll bring that in now. So first of all, when you put it on, you're going to be using this to create almost like a first part of a primer before you're putting on the main coat to finish off. I'm going to be using it, lifting it out, looking at the hair, seeing how it moves, which directions it goes in, what I need to do with when the product comes on. So this is the prequel before the main event. So lift it up, a bit like a starter before your main. So you can sort of see the shape coming through now. I've started to get a bit of a feel for what's going on. And then just put some more spraying. Light, always light. So you're skimming across the head, so it cascades. So you can see the colours already come alive now. Loads of texture. Excuse me, right, so the one before the last product, Savage Muck. It's quite a hard product, hence the word savage. I'll give you a tissue at the end. This is a really thick product, it's almost like a clay. So this will be the one that really brings it all together. Let's take a nice generous amount. Enough to cover both hands. Okay, and then all you do then is cover both hands with it. Now what you're looking for is heart on the top first. So we're going to go straight in there, use the palm of the hand, and then literally rotate. And lift it off, and all of a sudden you've got the lift on the top. Now I'll start to use the fingers as I'm coming through because I'm losing the mirror, seeing what's going on, and then use the fingers to bring out that movement. It's all really all in the fingers, everything is. So using not the balls of the fingers, just the edges, and then you start to look at the shape, and then you start to then pick it out, looking around the parietal ridge, then coming into the next part. So I do this normally and you don't know what's going on. Apart from the fact that that's it. So now we can start to see the shape emerging, and we're looking at the balance as we're doing it, because again, the top part or the high points of the head on here, that's the part that denotes where we're going. So now we'll just use the fingers again, coming through, and then what you're doing then is starting to pick out bits into the fringe as you do that. That really segregates it off nicely. Your fringe looks longer since when you came in. The funny sort of way it actually looks longer.
It's more defined.
Yeah, it's probably it. But it starts to show everything a little bit better. So what you'll find with the products is it starts to dry into your hand pretty quick. So you have to sort of use it really, really fast. Make sure it's on there. Cut a little bit more off and I'm not quite happy with that little piece there. Okay, let's just get a little bit more product. Only a fraction. And then again, it's really just a question of defining it now and moving little bits around. because we want that real explosion on it. And again, it's just moving it around and sort of just bringing out that width, because again, you can spend all that time cutting it, you really want to see it. What you don't want to be doing is flattening the cut out and sort of not being able to sort of see the bits of work that you've put in. So it's really important to sort of see that finished effect. And again, the back, you need to be sort of bringing that around off the crown so it looks like an explosion. Again, on the photos, you'll see all that later. So I've seen a little piece that I really am not happy with, which means that in 2 weeks' time it will grow out. So we'll just go back in there and just do this little piece. So coming at this angle now, looking in the mirror, and it's somewhere around about there. Just take a bit of that out, soften it off with the scissors, and what that'll do now is create more of a curve, which is what it needed, just that little piece just to finish off. Some of you at home probably noticed that already and thought, what's that piece doing? Well, again, when you do the cut, you're actually looking for that, so it's very important to be able to do it. Now we're going to use the very last part of the product wardrobe tonight. We're going to be using Muck Spa Argan Oil Spray Shine, and again, this is quite dangerous on the floor because it makes it quite slippery, so you too can be like Michael Jackson if you spray on there. The idea is just sort of spray it and move it over the head so it really sort of cascades down, and then it just covers the hair, gives it a nice shine, and then we have a finished look. How do you feel?
Good.
Excellent.
As always.
Thank you. Right, what we'll do is we'll just go through everything again and recap it. Come on, Dad. Come on, Dad, this side, stay left. Thank you. That's it. So, just give us a little twirl round. That's it. Oh, nice and slow, a bit. Nice slow motion. Beautiful. So, really nicely done. You've done this before, you've been watching it. So, how did it start? Well, this is how it started. Hi. This is how it started. You need to be on the model. Sorry, quicker. This is how it started. Let's look at the back first. So, it all started with the base of the back. So we went in to begin with. The important part of this, as you can really see it, is the angle of the hand. It went from knuckles to the end of the fingers, and that's what created the graduation, which is the heart shape, and you can really see that silhouette shape through the haircut. The secret to this haircut is not to leave the corners on, so we pivot the hand round. By means of pivoting it around, you can actually see that shape as it comes in through the sides, and it gives that real nice soft look. This is what starts the process off. So we go around that way. We then carried on coming with the angle at that angle, which we then moved our fingers in and elevated it out, which then gave us width on the top but a shape on the sides, and then moved that all the way to the front. We then segregated with the middle and went round again to create that body, which you can see here quite comfortably. You should see that angle, and created that weight all around this area, the width. We then went through the top, which created that round shape from the apex to the upper occipital bone, which then went into the sections of a cake, which again you can see quite clearly in this part of the cut now, the blow dry. You can really see how it all just falls in and gives us that real nice silhouetted shape, which is really important to the finished effect. We then go around and face me towards the front. That's it. So on the top then we went through on the top using the rounded light section. We went from 9 o'clock all the way through to 12 o'clock, and I said if you kept the sections longer on the top it would preserve the fringe, which is why you've got the fringe still here. If we went square on, what would happen is this fringe would go and it'd be dead short, and that's how you would lose the fringe. You'll see now on this, as we just come through the side, you can really see how that sort of works, the definition from the top to the through to the front. That was all done by chipping into the top with the scissors, point cutting, twisting it, many different mechanisms of doing all that, cutting in with the clippers through the top, and it all created more texture and more movement. We then came through the sides with the electric clippers and softened that in as well. We then came through to the nape. Let's just have a look at this side just through here. We put all the product into the side as we could see it to show it off at the end, but use literally electric clipper to remove the underneath hair and then show it off to its best, so you can see it just really feathers out and looks dead feminine, which is what it's all about. Come on through to the front, don't pass it. Beautiful. We used a razor blade through the front, we then used the curved scissors. How many different items have we used tonight? Probably 10 so far. And then we went into what would give us the removal of the weight through this section here, which would give us a stronger shape, and went into it with electric clippers, which gives us the finished effect. Products tonight, we cook with, we're on music cue, how about that? Fat Muck blowout mousse. which again is the lotion we use for cutting with. We then went into the blow dryer with hard muck styling mud, which gave us the blow dry and the movement of feel on the haircut. We then went in with the Savage muck, which gave us the lift through the top and the movement, which is what I wanted with the definition. After using, of course, first of all, the prequel, which was the muck hair lacquer. Then finishing off with the Argan Oil Muck Spa Shine Spray. And then, of course, one of the stars of the show we used tonight was the muck styling stick with the ionic lights on the sides, which again has proved its worth on the finish. So, thank you very much for being a model again, absolutely brilliant, thank you. As always, and driving so far. I'm sure you'll agree that Kate's hair looks fantastic tonight. It's always a pleasure to do Kate's hair, but I really wanted to showcase what we've done. If you'd like me to come to your salon or you to visit our salon for training, go to Scott Bailey Cutting Education on Facebook. Remember, next week we will not be back in here because we'll be doing a live show at 7:30. We'll be live on here and you'll be able to watch it from the comfort of your own home. If you'd like to come and join us, tickets are £5, it goes to charity. Feel free to be here. We're back in 2 weeks, live from here tonight. Let's just put that on quick because he worked so hard. There he is, Lord. Woo! It's all good stuff. We're going to go out for a meal very shortly. But thanks again to Dad, thanks again to Kate, thanks again to our product sponsors, Muck Hair Care, because again you can see how the products work in harmony with the haircut. Again, it's a real pleasure to showcase all this with you because we are showing secrets, and again you can see how the secrets work. The colours changed tonight, you can really see how it's all come together. It makes it so much more worth it. As I said, it's like doing a painting, a canvas and creating something really special. I think hair is special, clients are special, hairdressing is special. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whoever you're with, have a great Halloween and we'll see you next week. Ciao.